Hello again. In the second part of this video, we will be discussing the abuse of drugs and alcohol with respect to adolescence. So, like I mentioned to you earlier, adolescence or teenage is a period or a process which connects your childhood to adulthood. So, these 6 to 8 years, the age between 12 to 18, is a very crucial period for the child since he is undergoing some major biological and behavioral changes which are out of his control, and it is during this time that he has to make right decisions and move in the right direction. Now, as you know, curiosity is very natural to a child. So, as the child moves into adolescence, he is curious about a lot of things that are going on around him. The friends that he makes, the people that are around him influence him highly. This is the period when the individual will try and experiment with new things, and that is why the proper guidance during this period is very, very important. The first use of drugs and alcohol generally emerges out of curiosity or the need to experiment. Eventually, as the individual starts using these drugs or consuming alcohol frequently, he experiences the feeling of addiction. Now, what is addiction or dependence? Addiction is a psychological feeling wherein the individual experiences a strong need to consume that particular drug or alcohol to ensure the feeling of well-being or of euphoria, which is a sense of happiness. Initially, the process of addiction starts with experiencing that particular good feeling. But with time, the person is so much addicted to that particular product that he cannot function, or his brain cannot function straight or properly without the consumption of that particular drug or alcohol. This is a sort of a negative dependence that happens over a course of time. Getting an individual out of this sort of addiction is very, very difficult. Proper guidance and counseling needs to be provided in order to de-addict the person from a particular drug or alcohol. Once an individual is subjected to the process of withdrawing from the addiction, he experiences some very unpleasant symptoms which are known as withdrawal symptoms, in which case he may experience trembling of hands and feet, anxiety, shakiness, nausea, sweating, sudden outbursts of anger or anxiety, and there are many other symptoms which follow. It is during this period that the individual requires utmost care and consideration. Withdrawal symptoms may be severe or even life-threatening to the person, and the person may need medical supervision in some cases. Now let's take a look into what drugs and alcohol can do to an individual. What are the adverse effects it can have on an individual's life? By consuming excessive drugs or alcohol, a person may become unaware of his surroundings and situation. He may be subjected to adverse behavior, to vandalism. Vandalism meaning destroying things around him, showing sudden outbursts of anger and anxiety, becoming very violent at times. So these are specific symptoms that you see in an alcoholic person or a drug addict. Excessive consumption of drugs or alcohol may lead to severe life-threatening situations wherein the person may be prone to multiple organ failure, some major or vital organs may be damaged. It can lead to hemorrhages, coronary diseases, coronary heart diseases, coma, and even lead to death. A combination of drugs or their intake along with alcohol generally results in overdosing and may lead to death. Now, how do you know that a person is addicted to drugs or alcohol? Please note that there are very specific signs a person might show when he is addicted to a particular drug or he is addicted to alcohol. For example, if the individual was particularly good at academics, his academics may go down suddenly due to the use of drugs or alcohol. He will become more reckless. He will have certain behavioral changes wherein he may become arrogant, anxious, violent. In some cases, he will do exactly the opposite things that he would have been doing earlier. There will be lack of interest in his personal hygiene. He will show signs of depression, fatigue, tiredness, isolation. He will withdraw himself from society, and his relationships with family and friends will start deteriorating. These are certain signs you look for in drug addicts or alcoholics. Individuals who take in drugs intravenously, that is in the form of an injection through a needle or a syringe, are much more likely or at a higher risk to acquire serious infectious diseases like AIDS and hepatitis B. The viruses which are responsible for these diseases may be transferred from one person to another when the same syringe or needle is used multiple times. This may lead to serious infectious diseases which may be fatal and may cause death. The use of alcohol during adolescence also increases the risk of liver disorders or liver cirrhosis, which may lead to death. Also, consumption of alcohol during pregnancy will lead to complications or underdevelopment or deformities in the fetus. Now, let us look at how we can prevent and control the excessive use of drugs and alcohol. The first thing you have to remember is during this period, the best way to not get addicted to a particular product is try and avoid the usage or try and avoid trying out the product in the first place. So, the more you delay consumption of alcohol or trying out of the drugs, the easier it is for you not to get addicted to it. Once you are out of the adolescent period, if you try a particular product, there are lesser chances that you may get addicted to it. There are a few things you have to keep in mind. During this period, there is going to be a lot of pressure from your parents, from your people around you, your teachers, your friends. In any case, an individual should not be pushed into anything that he does not want to do. So boundaries need to be set between the individual and the people around him. He has to decide what he wants to do and what he doesn't want to do. Secondly, if an individual is facing problems during this period, he should seek counseling or go to a trusted senior where he can confide in those people and tell them what his problem is and try to seek out solutions. Also, if you find that the person around you is moving towards drug or alcohol abuse, it is smart to look for danger signs like what type of friends he is with, what company he has, what are his activities throughout the day, and if these signs are leading towards drug and alcohol abuse, it is best to seek professional or medical help in order to avoid or prevent the individual from getting into the addiction. With this, we complete the chapter Human Health and Diseases. Thank you.